My boyfriend proposed to another woman while I stood 10 feet away holding his lunch and a love note. I watched him slide the ring onto her finger. The same ring I pointed out in a shop window 6 months ago. The same one he told me was too expensive. The same one he used our shared savings to buy after lying and saying he needed money for a car repair. He looked her in the eyes and said, "I want forever with you," while I stood there invisible. That morning, he told me he had a busy day at work. I packed his lunch like always. Turkey club, no tomato, extra mayo, cut diagonally. I even added a handwritten note like I always do, counting the days until forever. That note was still in the bag when I dropped it in a trash can outside the restaurant 30 minutes later. I only went to his office because I missed him. That's it. I wanted to see his face. I thought I was being sweet. When I got there, his coworker Jenna looked at me like I'd walked in with a gun. "He's not here," she said. "Took the day off." Then she blinked like she realized she'd said too much. "He didn't tell you?" I didn't say anything. I smiled, nodded, walked back to my car. I opened our location sharing. He was at Le Jardin, a high-end place across town, the kind of place you propose in. I knew before I saw it. I knew before I parked, before I walked toward the glass wall and saw him in that navy suit. He was kneeling, she was crying, he was smiling, and I was done. I didn't go inside, I didn't make a scene, I didn't scream or throw anything. I turned around, walked back to my car, sat down, and stared at the steering wheel for a long time. The kind of silence that presses down on you. I couldn't move. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my keys. The note was still in the bag. I pulled it out and ripped it in half without even thinking. Then I pulled out my phone and started scrolling. 3 years of memories, 3 years of photos, 3 years of me paying rent while he said he was between jobs, me covering dinner while he waited on a paycheck, me buying groceries, gas, gifts for his parents, and somehow still being told I wasn't ambitious enough, that I wasn't dressing professionally, that maybe I should consider cutting back on the emotional stuff. The signs were all there, I just didn't want to see them. I drove home in silence. No music, no air, just me and the sudden awareness that I didn't know who I'd been living with. I walked into our apartment like I was in a trance. The dishes from last night were still in the sink. His hoodie was on the back of the couch. His shoes were by the door. The place looked exactly the same. That was the worst part. The world hadn't changed, but I had. I sat on the floor for 2 hours, didn't cry, didn't eat, just sat there trying to process what the hell had just happened. Around 4 in the afternoon, he texted me. "Babe, working late, don't wait up." Working. I stared at the message and felt something inside me split. I didn't respond. I didn't call. I opened my laptop and started digging. I didn't know what I was looking for. Maybe I thought I'd find a different truth, a better lie, but I didn't. I found emails, reservations, a hidden Instagram account, photos of her, captions that said, "My person." A post from 3 weeks ago, him holding her hand with the words, "Soon." I was never the only one. I was just the one paying for it all. The worst part, I recognized her. She wasn't a stranger. She was someone from his gym, someone I'd seen once at a charity run he dragged me to last year. Someone he said was just a friend from spin class. They'd been together for at least 6 months, overlapping everything we had. Every dinner, every fake excuse, every time he said, "I just need space." He didn't need space. He needed 2 calendars to manage both his lives. At 7:46 p.m., he came home. I was still sitting on the couch. He walked in like nothing had happened, tossed his keys on the table, kissed my head like he hadn't just proposed to someone else 5 hours earlier. "Hey babe," he said, "smells like takeout. You eat already?" I looked at him. "Yeah," I said, "I'm full." He didn't notice anything was wrong. That part still baffles me. I kept waiting for him to say something, to admit it, to confess. Nothing. He showered, changed into sweatpants, turned on the TV, and started scrolling on his phone. He even asked if I wanted to watch something together. I watched him more than I watched the screen. He looked so calm, so normal, like he hadn't built his life on a web of lies. The next morning, I called out of work. Said I had food poisoning. I needed time. I needed a plan. That's when I called Sarah, my best friend, the only person who'd never sugarcoat anything. She answered on the first ring. "What's wrong?" I didn't even speak. I just started sobbing. The ugly, shaking kind. She didn't ask anything. She said, "I'm on my way." 20 minutes later, she was at my door in pajama pants and slippers, holding coffee and a bat. "Just in case," she said. I told her everything, from the lunch to the ring to the way he kissed her like I didn't exist. She didn't say a word the whole time, just listened. When I finished, she stood up, paced for a second, then looked at me and said, "We're gonna burn him to the ground." I smiled for the first time all day. We spent the rest of that day making a list, not a cute breakup checklist, a full-on war plan. We weren't just going to confront him. We were going to dismantle the life he built on my time, my money, and my trust. Step 1 was gathering proof. I wasn't going to confront him with nothing but rage. I wanted receipts. Sarah and I spent hours digging through everything: his texts, his emails, the shared calendar we used to coordinate date nights and bills. That calendar? It had work trip marked for the exact weekend he flew out with her. The hotel confirmation was in his email. He didn't even bother hiding it, just deleted the notifications like I'd never think to check his inbox. We checked the shared savings account next. I knew he dipped into it, I just didn't realize how much. Over $800 in 2 months, labeled as auto, utilities, debt payment. Lies. The ring cost nearly $1,500. I found the charge. Same day he said he'd been homesick with a migraine. He was in another city with her. Step 2 was the ring. I remembered the store. We passed it while window shopping one weekend. I stopped in front of the glass and stared at it like it was something from a dream. He laughed and said, "Someday." I remember feeling guilty for even wanting something so expensive. He used that. He made me feel like I was asking for too much. And then he bought it, with my help, for another woman. Sarah made me call the store. I pretended to be his assistant, said I needed the receipt for tax purposes. The woman on the phone was friendly and helpful. She emailed it to me within minutes. His name, the ring description, the date, the full amount. I printed it. Step 3, backups. I copied everything onto a flash drive. Screenshots, receipts, location logs, messages, everything. I didn't know what I'd do with it yet, but I knew I needed it. That night, I pretended nothing was wrong. He came home late, said he had drinks with coworkers. I nodded, smiled, handed him a plate of reheated pasta. He kissed my cheek and said, "You're the best." I almost laughed in his face. He showered, crawled into bed, pulled me against him like he hadn't been touching someone else's waist less than 24 hours ago. I lay there in the dark, wide awake, his arm draped over me like dead weight. I counted down the hours until morning. That next day was the beginning of the end. Sarah and I had a plan. He was supposed to have dinner with his parents that Friday. He invited me weeks ago, said they wanted to talk about future stuff. His mom liked me, his dad adored me. They'd asked about grandkids once, half joking. I was supposed to bring dessert, a gesture of good faith. What he didn't know was that Sarah had already called them. She told them I wouldn't be coming alone. I walked in that evening with a box of cookies in one hand and the flash drive in the other. His mom hugged me like nothing was wrong. His dad opened a bottle of wine. He looked at me like I was already family. And there was Alex, smiling like he wasn't a monster. He didn't expect Sarah to walk in behind me. He definitely didn't expect me to sit down at the table and say, "We need to talk." His smile faltered. His mom looked confused. His dad set the bottle down slowly. I pulled out my laptop, and I told them everything. I started with the proposal. I told them in front of their son that he had proposed to another woman 3 days ago. I described the restaurant, her dress, the ring, his words. I showed them the receipt. His mom gasped. His dad leaned forward with his elbows on the table, silent, like he was waiting to catch a lie. Alex didn't speak. I moved on to the money, the lies, the secret Instagram account, the trips, the hotel confirmations, the missed holidays with me because he was sick or working late. Then I opened the flash drive folder labeled proof, screenshots of him with her, comments under her photos, voice messages he sent her that were meant for me. I played one. He called her baby, said he couldn't wait to start their life together. That was when his mom covered her mouth and said, "Oh my God." He finally spoke. "Okay, yes, I messed up, but it's not what it looks like." "It's exactly what it looks like," I snapped. "You proposed to another woman while living with me, while sleeping next to me, while I was paying your damn bills." Sarah sat next to me, arms crossed, staring him down. His dad finally said something. "Get out." Alex turned to him. "What?" His dad stood up slowly. "Get out." His mom looked like she was about to cry. Alex looked at me like I was supposed to defend him. "I don't know you," I said. "I never did." He tried again. "Can we just talk privately?" "No," I said. "You lost that right. You don't get privacy. You get consequences." He didn't argue again. He left. Didn't even take his jacket. His dad sat back down and said nothing for a long time. Then he said, "Thank you." His mom hugged me, crying quietly. I felt sorry for her. She didn't raise him to be like that. I could see it in her face, the heartbreak of watching your child turn into someone you don't recognize. I went home with Sarah that night. I haven't seen him since. He tried calling me the next day, 11 times, then from a different number, then from a blocked number. I didn't answer any of them. I sat on Sarah's couch, phone face down, while she poured me coffee and said, "He's going to unravel. Don't give him anything to hold on to." She was right. He messaged me on Instagram under a fake profile. I know I hurt you, but can we talk like adults? I reported it, blocked it. He emailed me after that, an actual email, saying he was in a dark place and that he didn't mean for it to go this far. He said I was the only one who really knew him. That's when I realized the depth of his delusion. He didn't want me back. He wanted a clean image, damage control. He didn't love me. He missed the comfort I gave him, the security, the backup plan. He didn't know I'd already started contacting the people in his life. The girl he proposed to, her name was Natalie. I found her Instagram through one of his tagged photos from the gym months ago. They had a couple of selfies together. I wasn't sure she even knew I existed. I thought maybe she was in on it, knew about me, and didn't care. But then I saw a post from her dated back to Valentine's Day. A candlelit dinner captioned, "He makes me feel safe." Safe. I sat on that for a full day before deciding to message her. I didn't go in angry. I didn't curse or accuse. I simply said, "Hi, Natalie. You don't know me, but I was in a relationship with Alex for 3 years. I believe you were proposed to recently. I need to let you know that I was still living with him when that happened." She didn't reply for 2 hours, and then I got the longest message I've ever seen in my life. She had no idea. He told her he was divorced, said the apartment he stayed at was a sublet, claimed I was his ex who wouldn't let go, and that we still shared a few things for financial reasons. He told her he was planning to cut me off soon. She was furious, and she told me she'd been planning the wedding already, that he'd asked her parents for permission, that she had no idea he was even still speaking to someone else, let alone living with them. Her last words before she blocked him were, "Thank you for telling me. I'm sorry you went through this. I won't be another one of his stories." I screenshotted everything. The fallout was immediate. She posted a story on Instagram, just black text on a white screen. "Lies catch up to you, eventually." I knew Alex would see it. I hoped he did. That same night, his best friend Mark texted me. Mark and I had been friendly over the years. He was one of the few people in Alex's circle I actually liked. He asked if I was okay. I told him the basics. I didn't send screenshots. Didn't need to. Mark had already heard. Natalie had told her side to everyone. He said, "I knew he was reckless. I didn't know he was cruel." Apparently Alex had done this before, not to this level, but he had a pattern. Dating multiple people at once, getting bored, making promises he couldn't keep. He used to brag about always having options. Mark said he thought it was just talk, immature guy stuff. But now I think he's actually broken, he said. "I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." He wasn't the only one distancing themselves. Alex lost half his social circle in a week. People stopped replying to his messages. A few mutuals unfollowed him. His boss, who had followed both of us on LinkedIn, disappeared from his connection list. I don't know if Natalie told him or if someone else did, but the damage spread fast. Meanwhile, I was finally sleeping again. I changed the locks on the apartment. He tried coming by once, banged on the door at 2 in the morning. I didn't open it. I didn't say a word. I called security and they removed him from the building. He never came back. It took me a full month to move on. Not emotionally. That part took longer. But physically, I boxed up every piece of him. Every hoodie, every old birthday card, every pair of socks that somehow ended up in every corner of my apartment. I burned the note I found in his drawer, one he had written but never gave me. It said, "I'm not good enough for you, but I hope one day I will be." Too late. I didn't want him to be good enough anymore. I didn't want him at all. I started seeing a therapist. Sarah came with me to my first session, sat in the waiting room reading a gossip magazine while I tried not to cry on a leather couch. The therapist told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Sometimes people lie, not because they want to hurt you, but because they want to keep their fantasy alive. That doesn't make it less cruel. It makes it more dangerous." That's exactly what Alex was. Dangerous, not in a physical way, in the way that erodes your reality, in the way that makes you question your worth, your sanity, your memory. He made me feel like I was always one step behind, always needing to fix something, always earning his love. I didn't deserve that. No one does. 3 months later, I got a message from an unknown number. Just one sentence. "I still love you." I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it. And finally, I felt free. About a week after that last message, I saw him. It was completely random. I was walking through the grocery store near my new apartment, somewhere I'd intentionally moved to make sure I never had to run into him again. And there he was, standing in the frozen aisle, staring blankly at a bag of mixed vegetables. He looked smaller, not physically, just dimmer. His hair was a little longer, but not in the effortless way it used to be. His clothes were wrinkled, his shoes untied. For a second, I don't think he even recognized me. Then our eyes met. And I watched the realization hit him. His mouth opened a little, like he was about to say something, but I didn't stop walking. I didn't give him a second glance. I turned down the bread aisle and never looked back. That was the last time I saw him. A few days later, Sarah and I took a weekend trip to the coast. Nothing fancy, just cheap motel coffee, long walks on the sand, and the kind of laughs that feel like medicine. We sat on a beach towel watching the waves crash, and she asked me if I'd do anything differently. I didn't even have to think about it. No, I said, because I needed to see it for myself, who he really was. It's easy to say I should have known, that I should have seen the signs, but when you love someone, you don't look for proof they're lying. You look for proof they're telling the truth. That's what makes betrayal so brutal. It doesn't just destroy the relationship, it destroys your ability to trust your own instincts. But here's what I've learned. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about reclaiming. I took back my time, my money, my peace. I took back my apartment, my friendships, my future. I took back me, and I don't regret any of it. Not the confrontation, not the tears, not even the pain, because the version of me who stood in that restaurant watching him propose to someone else, she deserved better. And now, finally, she has it.